I'm curious, I mean, what was it that made you wait so long to direct another movie? Was it something that just happened because of how busy you've been with doing TV? Or was it because it's just hard to get these types of movies made these days?
Yes. Yes to all of those. I was busy with True Blood. After True Blood, I spent a couple of years developing and shooting a pilot for an HBO series that ended up not going. I did one season of a series for HBO that ended up not going after the first season. And so I was pretty busy. But also it's difficult to get a little movie like this made. I think, the people who are in charge of the purse strings read a script and they're like, will this make me money? And I think probably the answer to a lot of people who read this script was no. We love the writing, we love the story, but we don't think this is going to make us money. So thank you. And then Miramax was the first financier that we met with who said, yeah, we'll do it. So that's what took so long.
Paul, was the script your first impression of this project, or did you talk to Alan first? Did you just read the story cold? Because I would imagine a story like this would make a pretty emotional impact when you read it.
Alan's a pretty classy chap who doesn't need to preface the read with a phone call. I'm always slightly suspicious when I'm always slightly like, what's wrong with the script? Send me the script. You know what I mean? It's like, and a really simple note. I also never read letters from directors because I always, I never read a mood book when they send along a mood book as well. You're like, yeah, I love all of these movies. The Last Picture Show is a great movie, yeah. But doesn't mean your movie is going to be like that. So Alan's note was really, really short, which was, I'd love you to be in my movie. and I was incredibly flattered being a big Alan Ball fan. So, but then I wondered, because I'm very much a glasses half empty sort of chap, I wondered whether I was going to get the one shit Alan Ball script. And I was really, really thrilled to find out I hadn't. And some poor other fuckers got that one. But I got the good one. And then we got on the phone and just, we had an amazing conversation. And then we pootled off to North Carolina to make the movie and laughed our way through a very emotional shoot, but we laughed our asses off.
We laughed a lot.
Alan, what was it that made you see Paul in this role? And Paul, what was it that made you see yourself in the role?
Before I sent the script, I watched a lot of, I obviously I had seen a lot of Paul's movies over the years, but I was watching a movie called Journey's End about soldiers in World War I in this bunker, and basically they all knew they were going to die, and Paul's character had such dignity and decency and grace, and I remember thinking, I can see him playing Uncle Frank. Sent him the script, and then when the phone conversation that he just referenced, it was very clear to me that he got the script, he understood it, it spoke to him on a personal level, that it would become a personal thing for him to play the role, and that he was a really great guy, and that he was funny and kind and smart, and that's, and that's when we said, let's get our business people on the phone with each other and make this work.
I thought anybody who likes a version of me where I fake dignity and decency probably going to be easy to fool for 5 weeks. So I said, no, why did I do it? It's a really good question. My first question was, should I do it? As a straight man, and can I do this? And I, just genuinely asking that question, because I think it gets harder and harder as you get older as an actor to to kneel in front of a grave, in front of a camera, in front of a crew, and do some play acting. And it's like going to a therapist at 50. It's like, it gets a bit more embarrassing the older you are. And I talking about yourself, and I need more and more compelling reasons to sit there with my dead brother's T-shirt, you know, and go to dark places. And actually, I got asked a question by a journalist today that was the most empathetic question that I'd ever been asked by a journalist ever. And they're saying, how do you raise that sort of energy? And what about your mental health? And it is true. Alan sent me home after we shot the scene at the grave because he realized that I was unshootable on. And frankly, it was a Friday, and I spent the weekend drinking too much and unable to sleep because you'd gone to this place that I don't know. It's one thing to be doing that at 20 years old somehow, and at 50 when you've got kids and fucking dogs and stuff in your life, you need a really good reason to do it. And I think we found one. So there I was with my brother's T-shirt at a grave again.
Well, Paul, as a director yourself, I mean, Alan is a master when it comes to these intimate family ensemble stories. What do you learn from being directed by somebody like him and watching him work? Is there anything in the way that he works or approaches material that you'll carry with you the next time you direct?
Oh yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm resistant to calling myself a director. I think you got to get two under your belt. When one is like a mistake or something. Two, you really mean it, and I haven't done two yet. So I maybe I'll start calling myself a director if I direct the second one. But yes is the answer, and I think actually we have a sort of similar style in that I really love actors because they can make you look like you know what you're doing as a director. That's what I kind of discovered. And also I think Alan, I happen to have written the thing that I directed as well. And Alan was talking the other day and I felt entirely aligned with him on it. I'm not very precious about what I wrote once I've written it. And as long as the story survives the actor's idea, I don't know, well, let's go with that idea. It seems to make you feel really comfortable doing it. And you do a quick calculation in your head and you think, well, the story survives. And oftentimes the actor will push back on, a good actor will push back on things. Okay, so a good actor is not protecting you as the director. He's not trying to, or you as the producer. He's not trying to, or she's not trying to help you make your day. They're trying to protect the object in the same way you are. And they'll push back on things. It's nice when they push back and the lights aren't burning and I was going to say film's not in the camera, but we don't do that any longer. But you know what I mean? Alan likes actors and I like actors. And so I think what I took was what I will take is being really empathetic and really listening, because often somebody's had a better idea than you have.
Alan, do you feel that all of your extensive TV experience helps when you're directing films? I mean, is there any ways that the experience you've had doing television changes or affects how you approach film?
Well, all the films I have done have been like low budget films with not really enough time to actually do the movie. So all the experience I have in TV of shooting, 5, 6, 7 pages a day is really helpful because I'm used to that schedule and I'm used to moving at that pace. I've never had an experience where I've directed anything for a feature where I had like a really nice amount of time and all the resources necessary to do it. So I've actually, in my experience in TV, the last few shows I've done, I've actually had more in terms of resources than I have with films. So I hope I answered your question. I sort of rambled.
Yeah, no,
you really didn't. I think that's true. I think the problem with making independent movies now is that we spend so much time trying to make them look like we had more time rather than just have more time.
Exactly.
Well, Paul, we now today know that WandaVision is coming out in January.
Oh yeah, did that happen? That happened today. Okay, great.
The big announcement happened today.
Okay.
So how did making that compare to the movies that you made in the MCU? Did it feel different in any noticeable way taking the film work and putting it into a TV series?
No, not really. I mean, if you think about what Kevin Feige has done, it's sort of like a grand TV experiment anyway. It's sequels and spin-offs, right? It's an episodic formula and spin-off formula like you had you have had in television forever, just done on a sort of grand scale in film. So moving it to TV felt, and I think they made a really smart decision. Ours is sort of an homage to lots of different eras and genres of American, the American centuries TV, and the difference is this: we had an awful lot of money, but we had to make 6 hours of 6 hours, rather than 2.5 or whatever it was, 7 hours. I don't know, 8 hours. I don't know, but a lot of hours at the same amount of money that we would usually have to make 2.5 hours. Okay, so they did some very clever things, like we shot the first episode in 2 days in front of a live studio audience. We basically ran it twice with 3 cameras running between sets, and that allows you to bank all of that time for all of the action. And we cross-bordered. That's the other thing. We cross-bordered the entire show because we had one director, which meant that you could bank that time. Usually you have 2 episodes with the director, and then so they boxed clever, and they made some pretty smart decisions about how we shot the early episodes so that we could have a lot of time at the end to try and keep the same sort of production value.
Because of how bonkers it all looks, does it feel like it's intrinsically connected to the MCU, or does it feel like it's more of its own thing, or are both of those things true?
I think it's going to make you think about the MCU in a whole brand new way. But I do think that it is it's absolutely a part of that universe. As each episode unfolds, the audience will be able to peel back layer upon layer until this rather beautiful puzzle box written by Jack Schaefer and directed by Matt Shackman and shot by Jess Hall will be revealed to everybody, and it will make sense, and all of that bonkers stuff will be about something.
You mentioned exploring different eras. Is it paying homage to a lot of different eras? Is it mostly 50s and 60s?
50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah, all of it. And then we end up in MCU, the real world. Yeah.
Well, Alan, do you feel like you have another TV show in you? Is that the next thing you might do, or are you looking more at film?
Yes, I'm in it. It's called Uncle Frank on Ice.
Uncle Frank on Ice, absolutely. As far as an open-ended TV show that would run for seasons and seasons, no. I'm too old for that. But I am working right now. I'm working on a pitch for a limited series television show. I'm working on a pilot for a TV show that is just writing it for myself. It's a show I would like to see. Whether anybody wants to do it or not, we'll see. I've got several movies I've written that I've been trying to get made over the years, and with not much success. But maybe one of those will go, or maybe I did during quarantine. I did write a slasher movie about a bunch of frat boys who go on a ski trip and somebody starts killing them one by one.
I ski.
Okay.
And I hate frat boys, so let's go.
So I think I had some anger to work out.
You think?
So we'll see. I don't know. It's not up to me. It's sort of whatever I have that anybody wants to actually pay to hire cameras to start shooting will probably be the next thing I do.
Except that now I desperately want to and need to see the slasher movie. Like that just really has to happen now.
Well, we'll see. Several people have passed on it already, so maybe we'll find somebody that wants to make it.
The limited series that you mentioned, is it like another ensemble family? I mean, you're so good at that. Is that something that you want to do again, or is it very different?
It's about, are you in LA, Los Angeles? Well, it's about the family that created the Zanku chicken restaurant.
There's one of those very nearby.
Well, it's a family of immigrants, a family of Armenians who came to America and created this this restaurant franchise, and it ends in like insane tragedy, and there was a double murder and a suicide. So it's light. It's very light fare. We'll see. We're just at the pitching stage. So,
Paul, how long do you think it'll be before you take on that second movie as a director?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I wrote something during quarantine with my friend that I really like. Is a comedy about his life. He and his wife got divorced, and then about a month later, all had to quarantine together, and it struck me as hysterically funny
oh, that's great
situation. And so I'll send it you, Alan. I'd love you to hear it. But the truth is, nobody wanted to make a movie about quarantine. It's not really about quarantine, but right now there was a lot of pushback on, we just don't think people want to see that right now. They want to kind of forget about it. But it's got lots of jokes in it, and they're pretty good jokes. So I thought it'd be really nice to do something that was funny this time. I'll send it you, Alan. I'm proud of it.
I'd love to read it.
I'm really proud of it. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Maybe if somebody wanted to give me the money to make that, I'd love to do that. It's very contained and can be shot during a lockdown.
Well, I appreciate both of you guys talking to me about this. I thought it was such a beautifully told story. I certainly was crying more than once. So thank you for that. And for this movie and for talking to me about it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.